To continue our theme, I got this in the mail. It's about the kitty. Hold on. This is Spike. This is what it says. I had called the vet. It was a holiday. She said, bring Spike in the next day. Hold on. And they would help him go to sleep. I had called my friends Scott and Paul. They would have come to my house after he was asleep and helped me bury him. I had tried so hard to keep him alive. Special food for his failing kidneys, 2 IVs a week for extra hydration. He had lost his bottom teeth in December and his hearing was gone, but he sure could talk. His voice resembled a squeaky door. Finally, he just quit eating, and what water he drank was from the IV, went straight through him. I finally had to let him go. I almost made it 17 years old. Spike wasn't a very big kitty. He was a lynx point Siamese with a medium blue eyes. When he looked at you, his eyes would gradually close. Otherwise, they stayed straight. He was short-haired. He was a character and loved to play until he got sick. I got up early that day, ate my breakfast, and then sat down for half an hour drinking coffee and holding Spike for for a what for an hour. I knew he couldn't hear, but thought he could feel the vibrations of my voice, and I held him close to me and talked to him and reminded me of the 17 years we had gone through together. It had all started when the boyfriend Buddy and I were at my friend Whopper's house. His wife had a menagerie of animals running around, many kittens. As we were leaving, Buddy picked up a kitten and said, "Here, Donny K, is this a present for you?" I said, "Okay, but get the one over there." He picked us up Spike and we took him home. I really didn't want another cat. I had one in the other house already, but since he was an outside cat, I thought he could live outside. However, our 14 big puppies were also outside. They mauled him, chewed on him before my water heater had exploded, flooded my kitchen. Some idiot had put a particle board under the linoleum and it melted away, causing the subfloor to start rotting by the sink. Mr. Spike decided he wanted in the house. He dug a hole through the floor and scooted right in. I put a rug over the hole and he went under the rug. I put a heavy cutting board over the hole and he came under the cutting board. He won. I let him in. My other cat disappeared and Spike was officially the house cat. We named him Spike because he was one tough little kitty. He discovered a mouse was getting his food out of the bowl in the kitchen. We lived in the middle of the field and had problems with mice. Did that make him mad? He would sit for hours watching his food bowl. Finally, one day he came prancing into the living room with the mouse in his mouth. His first mouse. Mouse. We moved to Phoenix. What a horrible place. We moved in with a lady friend of mine that turned out to be so nice. Had two big mean cats. Spike learned to stay out of their way. On their stair landing, waiting for Spike, who was coming up the stairs, the other was the sneaking up behind. The loud noise the cat made on landing, yowling at Spike. Just I opened up the door. Spike turned around with the intention of running back down the stairs, scared the one sneaking up behind him so bad that it actually rolled backwards down the stairs, yowling all the way. I grabbed Spike and laughed my head off. We left there and moved to Moscow to stay with my mom. In Moscow, he was the only cat that soon learned how to sneak out of my room and go down the stairs and visit my mom in the into a what boarder's room who was allergic to cats and freaked him out. He disappeared once in mom's attic for several hours and freaked me out. Even though Spike had never used the litter box in Texas, he immediately learned how to use it and was very good about it. We then moved to Oakdale, Washington. We lived in a huge building that had one time been an old drugstore. Spike loved it here. He could run and hide to his heart's content. However, the he immediately escaped and came home in a few days. I finally started letting him out for periods of time. Once I had heard a cat fight and ran outside, and here came Spike trotting out from the alley with a yellow fur in his mouth. We named what we we name was Zipper. We also had a kitty named Dixie. One day I let Spike out for a couple of hours. When he was coming home and walked into the garage, the feral mama cat attacked him viciously. My ex-husband laughed at Spike. Spike gave him a dirty look and went back down the alley. We didn't see him for several days. When he didn't we didn't find him and brought him back to the house, he wouldn't look at my ex-husband. He definitely had an attitude. I quit letting him out, but of course he escaped once in a while. Spike was so special. If someone knocked on the door, he would run to the door and growled like a dog. If someone brought a dog, Spike stayed within 5 feet of it. I guess to be sure it didn't hurt me. If it cried, if I cried, Spike would go nuts, jump into my lap, and talk to me. Once Zipper scratched me, and I pretended like I was crying to see what Spike would do. Spike came running up the stairs, took one look at Zipper, looked at me, and popped Zipper across the head. When Spike escaped, he wouldn't come to me if I called him. He wouldn't come to me if I called him, but if I pretended I was crying and called him, he would come to me. Spike, Zipper, and Dixie. And I moved to Palouse, Washington. We lived in a trailer. We had lots of wild animals running around, so they all stayed in the trailer except for times that I would put one at a time in a small pen outside. Spike liked the pen a lot. He would take naps there, but other cats hated it. While there, Spike woke up twice in the middle of the night because he thought there was something I needed to tend to. The first time, Mom had given me an electric heater. I set the thermostat and went to bed. About 3 a.m., the heater came on. Spike had never seen it glow before, so he came and told me about it. The second time, I had to put my cell phone on the top of my radio, which I never turned off, just down. At about 5 a.m., the radio station came on and made my phone vibrate. Here came Spike to tell me about it. What a cat. In all that, my almost 70 years, I have met lots of cats and kittens, but never one like Spike. Then moved back to Moscow, Idaho, to our own little house. Spike was happy there. I made him a special little throne atop the cedar chest with a pillow and a little bed. He stayed there for most of the time. He had slept with Dixie and Zipper, but decided but decided he liked the throne better. I'm so glad. When I decided it was time to go, that were that we weren't in a rent house, but in our own little home. There, I sat petting and rocking the special little Spike while he snoozed, very relaxed in my arms. After taking talking to him about adventures, I started singing one of Whopper's tunes, my old guitar, but he substituted cat for guitar. Spike started purring when he felt the vibration of the voice singing to him. He like he lifted his chin like he had done so many times, and I scratched him on the neck like I had so many times. What a cat, Spike. I'll miss him. There will never be another cat like Spike. My thanks to that wonderful vet clinic staff who gave me a little cardboard casket with a little soft maroon blanket to wrap Spike in. Also, to my friends Scott and Paul, who lovingly buried him in my front yard amongst the flower beds and birds singing. Donna Kay. Wow. The story of Spike.